So Lee, how did you actually discover bodybuilding?
Well, as a kid, I wanted to grow up and be Samson and Hercules. So at the age of 11 years old, my parents got me a set of weights. That's something I requested and asked for Christmas. And they obliged me in doing so. And I would read, study, everything I could get my hands on concerning training. Back then, they had the plastic weights. You had the clay covered with plastic. Then they gave you the little Charles Atlas course to go along with it. And so that was, for the most part, your bodybuilding Bible. Then as I would visit the grocery store on the weekend with my parents, I would rush to the newsstand and, try to find Muscle Builder and Iron Man magazines. And that's sort of where it got started. I started working out first at the YMCA. And back then, like the pull down machine was a cable coming from a pulley with a plate, sort of notched in on it. If it was swinging the wrong way, it would knock you in the head. So that was a pull down machine then. And so everything was sort of prehistoric at that time, but we loved just the atmosphere of what was attainable, just with hopes and dreams and aspirations. So my buddies, we later opened up a fitness center called the Olympian Fitness Center. And there, man, we made the magic happen there, right in that little town. And that's where I won the Junior Nationals and the NPC Nationals and the IFBB World Championship. So out of nowhere, but through hard work, dedication, and a strong faith and a lot of great friends, it all happened there, right there from that little town. So that's something I always emphasize with young athletes. If your atmosphere is what it need to be, you have the drive, the motivation, and the support. Doesn't matter where you come from. If you got a dream, you can make it happen.
You've won Mr. Olympia title 8 times in a row. How does it feel?
Mr. Olympia title, whoo, what a miracle. To win it one time is a miracle, but to win it 8 times, it doesn't make sense. When you really look at it, how hard it takes to get there. And I look at, sometimes I tell the guys when I speak, a lot of times I go out and I speak at some of the amateur events and sort of give the young athletes a history. They know nothing about that, about the way it used to be. They also don't know that during that era in 1982 and beyond, there were only about 4 to 5 athletes that turned pro a year. You have to first win your class. You're in a national event, whether it's Mr. Germany, Mr. France, or Mr. Holland. I was the NPC national champion over the USA. And then the other class winners, which back then there was the lightweight, it was a light heavy, the middleweight, and the heavyweight. So only 4 were selected to go to the IFBB World Championship. And if you win your class in the IFBB World Championship, only then did you turn pro. Only then. Now you have all these other competitions that you can turn pro in. So I can't even count the pros now. They're all over the place. But is that good or is that bad? It's not as prestigious as it was during my era as far as, turning pro. It was hard to do, hard to accomplish. Now, it's pretty easy. You can win it at any national event now, which, I don't know. I had to earn my stripes, and it was hard. What the world of bodybuilding looked at as bodybuilding during my era was a little bit different. It sort of morphosized into bigger physiques. What I had to do, I had to make sure that I sacrificed size in order to maintain the nice V-taper, the vacuum, the look of Arnold, the look of Robbie, because that was a model of Frank Zane. That was a model that was given to me, and we had to maintain that at all costs. I entered one of the Mr. Olympias in Italy at 257 pounds. I won, but at the same time, I lacked a little bit when it came to the overall waist taper that I had. I was bigger, but that quality chisel look wasn't there as it had been in some of my previous shows. So guess what? I had to go back. The next show I came in at 254 for my last Olympia, which was in much, much better shape. And that's what the world of bodybuilding said, that's what we want you to look like. Well, it's saying something different now. Not saying that's bad. I'm glad bodybuilding has now also created different categories. I think Classic Physique is great for the guys who entered that particular phase of competition. Now you have your bodybuilding. Now classic bodybuilding is coming. Well, it should have never left. I was a classic bodybuilding, but the powers that be within the federation say, well, listen, let's start this other category, because I was 254 with a 32-inch waist. Well, there's guys out there that have that still have that look. Let's celebrate them as well as the guys who are more massive, because you can't put a Brent Warren or a Ronnie Coleman on the same stage with a Flex Wheeler. It's two different types of physiques. So let's celebrate both of them. And I'm glad the IFBB is doing that now. I'm glad the NPC is doing that. So there's room for all of us.
Social media has allowed different personalities to have a bigger platform today than actual competitive bodybuilders. How do you feel about that?
It's a whole new generation. People who haven't won the Creek Water USA. Here they are, giving out information, but a lot of time they use the glitz, the glamour, they use the profanity, they curse and they spit, and whereby the integrity of someone like a Frank Zane or myself, it can be boring, at least to some of the younger athletes. But the guys that listen, that will follow instruction, and that do their homework, they are the ones that make it to the next level. If you're gonna be great in anything, you have to be a student of it first. I was a student of the sport. Everything that Arnold would put in the magazine, Franco, Frank Zane, Boyer Cole, Mike Mincer, all of these people I know and I respected. So when they said something, I listened. And as a result today, I'm a piece of every last one of them. That's why the International Association of Fitness Science was formed. This is a piece of all of those champions. None of these big mouth guys on social media know that. They haven't been there, done that. So how can they speak to the true science of how it's supposed to be done? You have to be smart enough to dissemble what's true and what's not. If you don't do that, then shame on you. You make mistakes and go in the wrong direction. You have formulas that these so-called gurus are coming up with. These guys never competed. This guy, or he maybe did and he won the Creek Water USA. Now you have these people running after him saying, well, this is my coach. I didn't have a coach. None of us had a coach during that era. You had a training partner. That's your coaching right there. Only trust a guru that's been there, done that. And there's very few of them out there. The IFBB World Championship, I got a call from who was at that time the editor-in-chief of Muscle and Fitness magazine, Bill Reynolds, and said that Mr. Weeder had requested that I come to California, and he wanted to, fly me out and do some pictures and interview, and then of course the IFBB, the International Federation of Bodybuilding, that time it was maybe 120 something, maybe 140 countries a part of the federation. And within those federations, you had the federation heads who could say, well, Lee, could you come to Germany and do a guest appearance for us? Or could you come to New Zealand, Australia? And that's how it still is today. Now, the opportunities to make more income is far greater, because during that time, it wasn't that many supplement companies out there, or the endorsements wasn't as big. I see the sport continuing to grow. 2016, I put on what is called Lee Haney's Physique and Fitness Games, my first show, and we had a little over 200 athletes there. Last year, we had 390 athletes. Just from one year to the next, we've had to expand it to 2 days. So it is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There's no end to the growth of what can happen with our sports. It's great to be able to make a living at your passion. It'll never stop. I'm really excited about the future of our sport.
Generation Iron 2.